It's been a while since I've done a talking video, so I'm gonna just talk about whatever is on my mind right now. The first thing would be girl questions, things that I get asked, such as like, issues that you may come across if you're a female and you're trying to get into fitness. Should you work out when you're on your period? Well, the answer to that would be yes, you should. Some people get really bad cramps, some people have lower back pain, and for some people it doesn't hurt at all. If you know yourself well enough to know that you're not going to be able to handle any kind of physical activity, then don't go to the gym for the first few days whenever it's really heavy for you. But for me, it's not that bad, so what I usually do is take a Motrin about half an hour before I go work out, and even if I'm not cramping, just to make sure that I'm not going to start cramping up in the middle of my workout. I know that being on your period makes you extra tired and really fatigued, and how I take care of that is I take pre-workout just all the time, even if I'm not on my period, but that usually helps a lot with how tired I am. If you're lifting, you might notice that you can't lift as much when you're on your period, and that's totally normal. That happens for me too. It just depends on how high your energy levels are. So don't expect too much. Just treat it as if it's any other day, but if you can't lift as much, don't be too hard on yourself. If you lose weight, are you going to lose your boobs? Well, boobs are essentially just fat, so yeah, you will. They are going to get smaller, but they're not going to get so small to where they're going to be concave and non-existent. If you're just blessed and you naturally have big boobs, your whole family has big boobs, then I would say you shouldn't really worry about it too much. But I'm not so lucky, so they shrunk quite a bit, but they're still there. And honestly, I would rather be fit and have lower body fat while having smaller boobs than be bigger just to keep my boobs. Lately, I've been seeing more and more couples lifting weights together at the gym, which I think is amazing. But the only thing is, I've seen a lot of guys try to teach their girlfriends something that they themselves aren't even doing correctly. And it's really hard because you don't know if your girlfriend might end up hurting herself or if you may end up hurting yourself. If you're going to teach someone else how to lift weights, please make sure that you're doing it correctly. Watch all the well-known fitness channels on YouTube, read about it. My favorite websites to read about how to perform certain exercises are bodybuilding.com and Simply Shredded. It's actually a lot easier and more organized to find things on Simply Shredded, so I guess if you're a beginner or if you just want to make sure you're doing it correctly, I would recommend that site. Okay, now ladies, when you go to the gym with your boyfriend and you're really serious about learning how to lift, please pay attention when he's trying to teach you. And even when it's not your turn, when it's his set, you should be still paying attention so that you could learn and see how he's performing that exercise. And if you already know what you're doing, then ask him to teach you how to spot, because eventually if you guys become training partners or if you're already training partners and he goes heavy or he tries to max out, he's going to need someone to spot him. And yeah, he can always ask like a random person at the gym, but it's just nice to know that he can count on you to spot him, just like how he can spot you. In my opinion, it's very important that when you're starting to learn how to lift, you perfect your form on all of your lifts. Only because the heavier you go and the longer you lift, you're going to start to get sloppier and you're not going to be as careful with your form. You basically just don't want to build bad habits for yourself. Certain movements are for certain parts of your body, like rear delt flies. They're supposed to be for right here, but if you have your elbow, like if you're shrugging up instead of like pinching correctly where you're supposed to be pinching, you're gonna just work your traps, and that's not what the exercise is meant for. You can do it, but if you're trying to work your rear delts, then you need to learn the correct form. Otherwise, there's no point of even doing it at all. Aside from having my boyfriend there to tell me what I need to fix, I always had him tape me so that I can see what he's talking about. He says like, oh babe, one of your elbows is higher than the other, and I can't feel that it's uneven. The exercise I feel like I'm performing the exercise correctly. But when I see the tape, I can see how uneven I am, or I can see what I need to work on and what I need to fix. And the good thing about taping yourself, in like a year or two, you can look back on it and see how much you've improved. And plus, if you're planning to make a transformation video like me, it kind of pays off to have that footage, because in the beginning I never was even planning. I didn't even know if I was going to be successful. So I didn't tape myself specifically because I knew I was going to document my weight loss journey. Those videos are just from me trying to learn how to lift in the beginning at all. So it's kind of a good thing that I kept those videos though. If you've heard about the term squatting ass to grass, it basically means that you're squatting below parallel all the way to the ground. I don't squat that way anymore. I just hit parallel only because I don't want to bounce at the bottom, which basically takes the tension off of your quads for like a second or two and helps you use a little bit of momentum to get the weight up. And to me, that's just cheating. You see everywhere that squatting will give you a butt. While that's true, it's not just squatting alone. You have to still do other exercises as well. You can't just expect to do like 10 sets of squats every day and then just boom, you have the nicest butt in the world. One of the most common questions I get from my family and my friends is how much weight should they be lifting? Well, it's going to be different for everybody. It doesn't matter as long as you're feeling the contraction. And they say, well, how much are you doing? But how much I'm doing is going to be completely different from how much you're doing. Say you've played sports your whole life, you're going to be naturally stronger than someone who has been inactive. If you guys both start lifting at the same time, your beginning weights are probably already going to start off being higher than theirs because you already have some muscle. Learn how to focus on whatever body part you're trying to work out. If you go too heavy, then you end up just concentrating on getting the weight up instead of focusing and setting your mind to the fact that you're working out that certain body part. I'm hoping to do a Q&A video sometime soon, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment or inbox me, and check out my Instagram and my Facebook, and I will post a back day video whenever my next back day is, so I think in like 5 days or so. See you then. Peace out.